Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're doing another book haul. I haven't done one in a few months and I figured, you know what? Picked up quite a few books. Let's go ahead and talk about them. Hopefully this angle's okay. I've been slouching, so I should probably sit up straight. I think I have 14 if I counted correctly to show you. I'm not including, well, I am including book of the month, but my add-ons, not necessarily my books of the month. But I think since I've hauled maybe last, they're all right here. You can get a gander there. Kind of organized them, kind of didn't. We're just gonna go through everything. I have read one of them, so I did talk about this one in my April book wrap up, I believe. It's late, I'm tired. If I'm not speaking full sentences, I'm just hoping you guys are catching on to what I'm saying. So I'll start with that one and kind of go in whatever order I have, which isn't really an order. We're just gonna go because here's the thing. I talked about this with my husband because I felt called out the other night when I was watching TikToks and it was like, maybe your hobby isn't reading books, maybe it's buying books. And I was like, yeah, but also I feel that way. But I just really love new books and I get really excited, and I've just been going to a lot of stores and getting excited. So let's get started. So the first book that I'm going to show you is the only book out of this entire stack that I have read, and that is Riley Sager's Home Before Dark. I loved The House Across the Lake. I wanted to read some of his other books because I know his newest one is coming out in June and I'm really excited for it. So I picked up initially Home Before Dark, and this is 5-star read for me. This was such a good time. I had such a good experience with this book. It's about basically this girl who lived through kind of like a Haunting of Hill House situation, and her dad writes like writes like a book about it, and she has completely blacked it out. She's moved on. 25 years later, she inherits the house. She's like, did this really happen? I need to know. It's kind of going back and forth between her dad's book and what's happening 25 years later when she goes back to the house to kind of renovate it to sell it. Is it really haunted? Probably. So this was amazing. This was a 5-star. Loved it. I'm getting sweaty, so I'm taking this off. I bought that. Out of all the books that I've purchased, that's the only one I have read so far. So of course, after I read that, gave it a 5-star, realized I love his writing style, went back to Barnes & Noble and picked up 2 more Riley Sager books because why not? So the first one I got is Final Girls. Stephen King has a quote on here. I'm a big fan of Stephen King. This says, if you liked Gone Girl, you'll like this, which I did like Gone Girl. Final Girls, couldn't tell you what it's about. Not a clue. Wow, it says 10 years ago, a college student, Quincy, went on a vacation with 5 friends and came back alone. Sounds to me like she's a final girl here. Yep. Massacre survivor. She joins in a group of similar survivors of final girls. And then someone is found dead within that group. Sounds about like the Grady Hendrix Final Girl support group, which I hated. But I'm hoping because this is Riley Sager, I'll enjoy it a little bit more. So I have this one. I also just really like these covers. Like this looks, and then when together, they just look so like good. And then the other one, oh Lord, that I got is one that I've actually heard a lot of good things about. This is Lock Every Door. This one, I feel like, from what I can tell from a lot of people's reviews, is more thriller-esque, but I mean, Riley Sager goes down so many different paths, I feel, that it could go any sort of way. So this is about this girl who responds to a newspaper advertisement. Her name is Jules. She wants to work at an apartment as an apartment sitter in this like place called the Bartholomew, which is one of Manhattan's most famous and like most secretive buildings. At first she loves it, but then there's like all these rules she has to follow and she's really confused by some of these rules. And soon she realizes that it's more dangerous than she thought. And I thought that this would be kind of more of a fun thriller slash horror, and it would just also add to my Riley Sager collection because now I'm just really enjoying all of his books and I want to read them all. So, and this one's quoted by R.L. Stine, which I'm a fan of R.L. Stine. So those are my 3 Riley Sager books. I guess we'll stick with the kind of theme of like thriller horror. So I do have a book here that I actually just recently got as an add-on from Book of the Month. I freaking love Book of the Month, and then the fact that they have add-ons that you can buy, and almost all of them are like really popular books, and like the newest one was the newest Christina Lauren. Like it's just exciting. So if you're not signed up for Book of the Month, I personally recommend it. I'll put my referral link down below. Honestly, I've had a good time and a good experience with it. So this is another thriller I picked up as an add-on. This is A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. I think my December or maybe my January book of the month was All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham, which was her second or third, I'm not 100%, but I had such a good time reading that book. It was such a good thriller. I enjoyed it so much, so I knew I needed to pick up her debut. I heard a lot of good things about this, so I went ahead and grabbed this as an add-on. This is about Chloe, who when she was 12, 6 like teenage girls went missing in her hometown, and I'm pretty sure her dad confessed to the crime of it, and now it's 20 years later, and kind of the same thing starts happening again in this town, and I think things arise because of that. So Flicker in the Dark, I'm actually really excited to pick this, or I was excited to pick this one up, and I'm kind of excited to read it now because I do know that I enjoy this author's writing style. Sticking with thrillers, if I still have any thriller/horrors, I have one more thriller/horror. This one I actually just got the other weekend. We went to Half Price Books. Quick unrelated side note about Half Price Books. I went into the like children's chapter book section because I have an 8-year-old and she wanted to look too. And I got hit so hard. Like, I felt like I got punched in the face with the nostalgia bug because I saw Double Fudge by Judy Blume. I haven't even thought about that book in over 20 years. Like, I couldn't even tell you the name of it. I just knew it was about this kid that liked shoes and money. Like, that's like all was in my mind. And I saw it and it was $2. And the fact that I didn't buy it is a travesty because that's all I've been thinking about is how I want to reread Double Fudge. I loved that book as a kid. I read that book so many times. And that's like something I want to do now. I want to go to Half Price Books, go to the kids section and just get like books that make me happy as a kid, because why not? They're $2. But anyway, I got this from Half Price Books. Hidden Pictures by Jason Ruckalak. I'm not too sure. I know this is like a really popular horror right now, and it was only like $8 at Half Price Books, and it was like sat up and propped up, and I was like, you know what, I've seen this a million times at Target. Let me just grab it. I'm just gonna grab it. So I grabbed it. So Hidden Pictures is about this girl. Her name is Mallory, and she takes a job as a babysitter for this like affluent family, and the little boy like draws pictures, and he's like really good at drawing, and he's cute and adorable, and he draws all these cute pictures, and then all of a sudden his pictures start turning like real eerie real quick, like depicting murder scenes and things that are like, she's like, well, this is a little weird, and it becomes scary, and I'm really down for it. And I actually never really like pawed through this book before, and I realized that there is like pictures, a little bit scary in here. So speaking of scary, Home Before Dark did scare me. Like, I was a little scared, so I'm looking forward to this. I want to be scared again. So that's like the last thriller/horror I picked up. I'm excited to read that. Okay, so speaking of Half Price Books, I guess we'll go with the other one that I grabbed at Half Price Books. You'll see this with another book I have in here. I do this really fun thing where I pick up the second book in a series, not realizing it's the second book in a series, so oops. But I got 4 Aunties in a Wedding because I remember, like, in my brain as I was in Half Price Books, I just remember seeing this book and like hearing people talking about it. And this is the second book in the Dial A for Aunties like series, I suppose. This is by Jessie Q Sutanto, excuse me, yes. So I'm gonna eventually get Dial A for Aunties, and then I'm gonna read this. But 4 Aunties in a Wedding, I'm assuming this is like a very cozy mystery style book, which I really enjoy. I like the Finlay Donovan series, which is like cozy mystery, and I feel like this is gonna be kind of down that same path, but it's more so about Meddy is her name. In this book, maybe she's not in the initial book, I'm not too sure, but the aunties are in it, so maybe it's a cousin. I don't know. I literally don't know. I just picked it up because I heard so many things about it, and I didn't realize it was the second book. So the other one that I picked up, which was the second book, oh, I didn't take the little tag off it. I picked it up because it was a buy one get one 50% off at Barnes & Noble. Oops. But yeah, I remembered seeing a lot of people talking about this one too, so I grabbed it, and then I realized, oh, it's ripping. Oh Silly Girl, this is the second book. So this is Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. This is the second book. The first one is Delilah Green Doesn't Care. So I'll have to read that one first. But you know what? It was 50% off, and I'm happy to own it. So this is about Astrid Parker. Ever since she broke up with her fiance, she's been focused on her career. She's obsessed with her career. She meets Prue, who asks her to be a designer. Oh, that's exciting. For an HGTV show. It's romance. It's cute. I picked up the second one because I'm a big dum-dum, but that's okay. I guess, should we stick with romance? Because I have a lot of it. I'll stick with Jessie Q Sutanto because I also got another book. This isn't romance, but this is just another one from this author. I heard somebody talk about this and I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds so good. Another kind of like cozy mystery. This is Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. It's about this old lady who I think like not witnesses, but she's like kind of on the scene first of a murder, and she kind of tells the cops what to do. She's like, you're doing your job wrong. And it just kind of sounds funny, and it sounds like she's like becomes like a detective in her own way. It gives me very kind of like light Thursday Murder Club vibes. I just like elderly people. They make me laugh. So I thought this would be kind of fun, and especially because she wants to be like a detective. She finds a dead man in the middle of her tea shop. It says Vera doesn't know what comes over her, but after calling the cops like any good citizen would, she sort of swipes the flash drive from the body and tucks it safely into the pocket of her apron. Why? Because she's sure she'll do a better job than the police possibly can. I love stuff like this, so I grabbed that. Now we'll get back to romance. So I read Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, and it was top tier romance for me. I loved it so much. So I wanted to read more by Lynn Painter. I don't know if she has any other YA romance, but she does have some adult romances, so I grabbed this one next. This is The Love Wager. I just love these little cartoon covers. They're just the cutest things on the whole planet. Like, so cute. So yeah, this is The Love Wager, another by Lynn Painter. I'm a big fan of Better Than the Movies. So this is about Hallie Piper. Hallie? Yeah. She decides it's time to become a full-on adult. She gets a new apartment. She logs onto a dating app that she's determined she'll find love. She sees Jack Marshall, the guy whose room she snuck out of. After agreeing they're absolutely not interested in each other, they realize they're each other's perfect wing person. So they become wing people for each other and somehow fall in love. You know it happens, and I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. So that's by Lynn Painter. The other romance I have here is one that I actually heard. Oh God, I don't remember who. Everyone just blends together after a while for me. Someone talked about this and said it made them cry, and I don't want to cry, but also like kind of do. This is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I think it's about this girl Florence who's an author, and she falls in love with a ghost, but that sounds really cute. It's like Casper. Oh, I hope it's like Casper, actually. A little bit spooky, a little bit romantic. And last for romance, I have this book. So I was in Barnes & Noble, and I'm almost like embarrassed to show this to you, and I shouldn't be. I was in Barnes & Noble, and they had this section that was like romance, spicy romance, and it was like 1 level of spice, 2 levels of spice, and my brain was just like, no, we're gonna go to the 5 spice. We're gonna see the spiciest books. And I saw this, and I was like, I'm gonna read this. So it's Priest by Sierra Simone. I've heard this is very spicy, and I really want to read it. I don't mind a little bit of spice. I don't mind a lot of bit of spice. I don't know, actually. We'll see after I read this one, because I know it said it had 5 spices next to it. It could be very spicy. Priest by Sierra Simone says, forgive us for our sins. I'm pretty sure this is about a priest who does some stuff. Can't wait to read about it. So excited. Next we'll do, oh, I had another romance, my apologies, from another add-on from Book of the Month. So Book of the Month for this current month, one of their books was the new Abby Jimenez, and I heard so many people talk about it, and I was like, well, I want to read the first one first because that's just how I am. So I picked up Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, which I've actually heard is really, really good. It's another romance. Oh my God, that sounds so cute. Gourmet grilled cheese sandwich. Alexis has had her world turned upside down. The Cause, Daniel Grant, a ridiculously hot carpenter. Oh, kill me. He's 10 years younger than her. She's a city girl. He sounds like he works with his hands. I don't care. I can't wait to read it. I'm so excited. So those are all my romances. Then I have one literary fiction, which is another Book of the Month one. I read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It literally, again, changed my life. The hype was so real. I get so nervous when books are like overhyped, when they're hyped up a lot, because I'm like, what if I hate it, man? Like, I don't want to hate it, but I loved Evelyn Hugo. Like, I still sometimes think she's a real person. Like, I think she's a real person. So I was like, you know what? Daisy Jones and the Six. It's time. It's an Amazon Prime show. I've heard nothing but good things about Daisy Jones and the Six. This was Book of the Year in 2019. So is this all told in like interview styles? Kind of love that. I love that Taylor Jenkins Reid writes about like famous people, but like they're not real, but they feel real. So like, I don't know, I'm really excited for this one. Again, this is incredibly hyped up and I'm a little bit nervous I'm gonna not like it, but I just like, I loved Evelyn Hugo so much. I'm really excited for Daisy Jones and the Six. And the last but not least, we have one fantasy, which is another one of the ones buy one get one 50% off that I didn't take the tag off of because I'm silly. One fantasy. I have a lot of series that I want to start fantasy wise. I'm also amidst ACOTAR. I need to read A Court of Silver Flames, but I'm like putting it off so bad because like I know I'm gonna love it. And I know that sounds like a stupid reason, but this just my brain, it's just how it works. But it's another start of a new series. I heard a lot of good things about this. This is Jade City by Fonda Lee. It's winner of the World Fantasy Award. I don't know, I really do be loving fantasy books sometimes, you guys. Like I like put me in that world. And there's so many that I want to read too, because like some of the book influencer girls I watch are like currently in their fantasy era, and they're reading all these books that I'm just like, I really want to read those. But I grabbed Jade City. Jade City. For centuries, Greenbone warriors have used magical jade to enhance their abilities and defend the island from foreign invasion. Now the war is over. New generation wants control of the capital city. 4 siblings of this powerful family must prepare for battle. Sounds great. And I know that I think there's 3 of these potentially, maybe 4, but I think 3 is what my head, that's what I'm thinking. I'm really excited to read this, Jade City. It looks gorgeous. Yeah, it's the Greenbone saga. I love that. I love when books do that. Do my other books have that? No. Yes, Shadow and Bone has 1 on it. I like that. I don't know why. It's just like it's helpful. So yeah, Jade City, pick this one up. I'm excited to read this one too. I'm a little bit nervous though to jump into another fantasy right now, but that's everything. Those are all the books I've picked up in the past couple of months. I hope I get to talk about them with you guys in my monthly wrap-ups. Definitely be sure to watch those. And I feel like I can read like 4 to 5 books a month if I really buckle down and try, but I just love reading. You guys know that. I'm just like, and I love buying books. It makes me really happy. And like watching, like sometimes I get in these like reading slumps and then I'll watch like a booktube video and I feel like I'm just rejuvenated. I'm back. I'm ready to read. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye guys.